Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages and sizes, I am back and we are here, and as you can see before you, the legendary hunter has awoken. Yes sir, sneak peek number 2 for the March update, or the Sinister 6 update, the Sinister Syndicate update, whatever you want to call it. Marvel's greatest hunter is getting a brand new uniform, and I need a rating from you guys, 1 to 10. How do you feel about this uniform? Because I think it looks absolutely fantastic. Looks like a younger Kratos with a full head of hair. Man, it looks like Jason Momoa. I don't know. It looks like War Tiger, I don't know, 50 years ago when he was in his prime. Either way, Kraven, my boy, is getting a brand new uniform. Some of y'all probably new to the channel, you probably don't know, but Kraven is one of my favorite characters in this game. At one point I had him top 50 in the world. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Marvel is going to be able to do with him this time around. He's getting his first uniform, and from the looks of it, he's getting an awakened skill. We'll talk about why that is the case and what could possibly be his awakened skill, because I see a couple people on Twitter saying that they're going to throw him in with 2 useless characters, and pause. Okay, I already figured out what they're gonna do for his awakened skill, so follow me. Okay, I gotta say I was not expecting to see Kraven at sneak peek number 2, because he realistically doesn't have anything to do with Dr. Octavius and his Dying Wish uniform, but I don't have a problem with it for the simple fact that Kraven's never really gotten any love. And if you've been keeping up with the channel, you know I'm a big fan of characters who've never gotten a uniform getting their first uniform, characters that get trapped at tier 2 getting their tier 3 or their awakening, and this is one of those cases. And he has enough ties to Dr. Octavius and the Sinister 6 to actually make this one work. Now over here on the forums, this is what they had to say. This supervillain who can take down large animals with his bare hands has enhanced physical powers after his interdimensional travels. Check out the new looks of this supervillain who is on the hunt for his ultimate prey. Man, like seeing this new look and this sneak peek in general just brought back so much nostalgia for me, because the last time I used Kraven, it was good and bad. I'm not too sure if you guys are around, because we get new subscribers all the time, but back in 2020 I made this video right here where I had like a top 50 Kraven in the world, but I did that for Kraven because I wanted to see if he could actually clear content, and the most we could really do with him was like Shadowland, and we attempted stage 45 against Corvus Glaive, but unfortunately he was not able to pull it off even with a CTP upgrade. So I'm really excited to see what they can do for him this time around. Obviously War Boss Ultimate is no longer the ultimate game mode, and considering the fact that he's a speed villain, there's a chance that he might become meta for ABX, and if that were the case, that would truly make me very happy, especially after the disappointment that was Chasm. Many of us thought that this guy would be the new speed meta, taking over from Green Goblin, since he has tier 3 and Green Goblin is still a tier 2 character, but unfortunately that was not the case. But in his case, he at least has a support passive to fall back on to buff the spider characters. In the case of Kraven, even though he at times have been a supporting member for the Sinister 6, and they do have a Sinister 6 tag, and currently the Sinister 6 doesn't have a specific support buff for their group, so it would be cool if they got one similar to Chasm / Scarlet Spider or Abomination, just to name a few. They have a leadership in Electro, so a support passive for the group would be really nice. However, they do have to overhaul his kit top to bottom. He needs a new 4-star passive, ideally physical attack, since he's a speed character. Speed characters generally have low stats, so getting something similar to what Black Widow got, that would be pretty cool to bring these characters up to 2023 standards. But obviously stats aren't everything, so he's gonna need stuff like a frenzy buff, because if you look at his skills, he actually has no all attack buffs, no critical rate buff, no critical damage buff outside of his leadership, no defense buff, and we already know that speed characters have low stats, which is attack, defense, everything. If he got like extra defense from like a frenzy buff, that would be cool as well. Another thing I'd like to see in his kit at some point, probably should give him like guaranteed dodge. He has guaranteed critical rate, makes sense for Hunter. Ignore dodge makes sense, especially since he's always hunting Spider-Man, and Spider-Man is a speed character, and speed characters generally rely on their elusivity. Having high dodge is something that is built into most speed characters, so him having ignore dodge makes sense. However, him having dodge himself should make sense because he's a speed character and he's a hunter with really good instinct. It would also be really cool for him to get iframe ignore. I'm not too sure why lately they have not been giving iframe ignore to a lot of characters. Like for example, Angel, not really that great for PvE, has a PvP leadership but did not get iframe ignore. I think that's something they should definitely implement for Kraven since he's a hunter. Iframe ignore for him makes absolute sense, and if all else fails and he doesn't become a meta for ABX, at least him having iframe ignore, you could fall back on him being decent for AC. Obviously he needs a heal because he was created at a time where healing in your kit was a rare thing in Marvel Future Fight, and by today's standards, if a character can't heal for at least 20 to 30% of their HP on a regular basis, there's no way they're going to be competing in high-end content. Another thing I want to point out to you guys, see in the trailer he had that red lighting in the background. I think that symbolizes that he's going to be awakened. However, you might wonder, who's he going to be awakened with? I think he's going to be awakened with Dr. Octavius, and the reason why I say that is if you take a look at Dr. Octavius' 6th skill, I know this skill was created a very long time ago, so some of you guys may or may not have forgotten about it, but look at the very end of the skill, who comes in? That's Kraven, right? Very end of the animation. Obviously we see Electro, we see Vulture, we see Sandman, we see Mysterio, obviously Dr. Octavius flying around, and then at the very end Kraven is there. And we already know, 1, Netmarble is very lazy, okay? 2, they're running the game on autopilot at this point. 3, he's in the skill, and everybody else that's been in this skill at some point when they got their awakening, they basically just copied it from Dr. Octopus and put it on those characters. We've seen it for Vulture because the first one that got awakened when the awakened skill system was created was Dr. Octopus, and then we were wondering what would happen for the other members of the Sinister Six. Will they just copy this skill over to them when they got their awakening? And that's exactly what happened. Vulture got it, Mysterio got it recently, even though he didn't get a new uniform, so I expect them to do the exact same thing for Kraven. I see a couple of you guys saying, oh, they're gonna awaken Kraven, Rhino, and some other random character together. I highly doubt it. I think he is actually gonna get tossed in with Dr. Octopus, and then if Rhino does get something at some point, he might get a tier 3 skill, or they might combine Rhino and Lizard together, because I would really like to see Rhino and Lizard get something. It was really unfortunate when they got left out of the No Way Home package, but it is what it is. And as you can see, we're clearly moving slowly but surely towards a state where every character in the game can either be awakened, tier 3 or tier 4. I know a lot of you guys want Green Goblin to become Red Goblin, or you don't even care if he becomes Red Goblin, you just want him to be tier 3, and obviously I want that too. However, I think the reason why we haven't seen a tier 3 yet is because they're going to introduce Kang as a native tier 3 and then drop his World Boss Legend as well.